Gather round, friends. It's time for Officials' Tales. Hosted by three retired sports referees that coaches throughout Northern Ohio knew as the Three Blind Mice. They are authors of the book called Officials' Tales. So let's meet the authors and your hosts, Jimmy Borgia, Rick Hall, and Don Nardecchia for today's edition of Officials' Tales. Now here's your host, Rick Hall.
Welcome everybody to our 30th episode, and thanks for everybody watching us and commenting and keeping an eye on our shows. The best way to follow our shows are on my Facebook page, Don's Facebook page, Jimmy's, Three Blind Mice Facebook page, and of course, YouTube. Tonight, we're going to go over a few videos regarding the NCAA tournament, giving you some updates and our opinion on things. And we'd love to hear your comments. So, hey, without further ado, let me bring on my boys. Hey, Nardo.
Hey, Rick. Hey, I just got to put a plug in here. The house band we have is a Reverend Raven and the Chain Smoking Altar Boys, and that song they play to get us going. That's just pure fun.
Heck yeah, baby. You know, what can I say? And thanks to Nick.
If you've got Apple Music, you can look them up. Reverend Raven and the Chain Smoking Altar Boys. Speaking
of Chain Smoking Altar Boy, fresh out of rehab, here's our buddy Jimmy.
Right.
Hey, Jimmy. Good to have you out of rehab, baby.
Yep. Yeah.
You tried out yet? I mean, you doing better?
Yeah, I just finished the 10th on the second round of rehab, and I'm staying right at the 232. That's about 35 plus pounds that I've lost since mid-July. I don't think my granddaughters, I told my daughter-in-law, I don't think they're going to recognize Grandpa when he's going to be down there in about 2 weeks.
Man, he's going to be a shadow of his former self.
Yeah.
And I like the idea this is your second round, by the way. That tells me you're not a quitter.
Well, actually, I signed up for my third round.
Holy smokes. So wait a minute. Whoa. I got to ask the obvious question. Is there like some really cute therapist you're like going to see?
They're nice people. They're real nice people.
Boy,
you like that hesitation? Holy smokes.
Right. Yeah.
It's like,
they're nice people.
Maybe.
They're nice people.
They're
nice people. Let's get on to business.
Let's get on to business. Well, like I said, guys, we're going to review a couple of videos. Just hang on tight, and we're going to get right to it. Hold on. In our first video, oh boy, here we go. We're going to start off with that controversial deal with Duke.
In a comeback that will never be forgotten.
We're going to get started with this. Now, we're going to talk about what the heck happened. Here we go. Ready?
In a comeback that will never be forgotten by Houston fans and Duke fans for the worse, Houston fans for the better.
All right. Let's go over it again here. Let's see now. Let's see the initial position. All right.
That's why the shot was in the air.
Right. This is
wrong. Right there.
Right there. Okay. Now let's take a peek at where I'm assuming he's the center here, where he's at when he makes his call. Let's take a look.
In a comeback that will never be forgotten by Houston fans and Duke.
Oh boy. Now I'm gonna interject something here before I ask for your guys' opinions. First of all, I think right out of the gate, I think we had some little bit of action going on while the ball was in the air, or maybe before. And then with the center, in this case, making a call down the stretch from behind the play, I think that I think one of his teammates should have came up and went, "Hey, are you sure about that one?" Because because there's no way he saw that. So Don, I'm gonna, you're our rules interpreter. You go right ahead. You tell me what you think.
I have never seen anything so obvious at the free throw line. We used to have high school kids that would try to put an arm nonchalantly across the lane line space markers, and into the guy next to him was an opponent. And if I saw that continuing, if it got into a thing where the kid in the lane space that he's encroaching on would take his hand and kind of, chop it down to get his hand off of him, and get a little playing a game. I just stop in and say, listen, this is your lane space. This is your lane space. This is your lane space. Don't reach across because it's a foul if you hold them back. And that was generally enough. But why somebody didn't step in there, and I don't remember seeing anything that obvious during that game. There's a physical game.
Oh, absolutely.
But I don't remember seeing anything that obvious during that game up until that point. So there's a problem brewing right away, and this is not going to be pretty as to what happens. I don't really know how it should be handled or what the rule book allows them to do in the college game if something like that presents itself. I know they did call a technical foul the other night because one of the players reached across the end line and hit the ball in the hand of the kid that was trying to throw it in. This is a lot like that, reaching across a space. Now, obviously, our rule, I think, is the same in high school. You reach across the line and hit the ball, it's a delay a game technical foul. Okay.
That's right.
And that game there, they just say technical foul. They don't explain much more about it except that you're not allowed to reach across the end line and touch the ball, even when a person's trying to throw it in. So they got their free throws and they went on. You don't see that called very often, but you don't see guys reaching across the line defending. You'll see a lot if it's been happening. The officials will kind of step in front of the thrower and before they give them the ball and say, right here's your, their hand will go up and down on line trying to get this in the camera. This is your restraining line. The line's right here. Don't reach across. Kind of give it to them mentally. But, this thing at the free throw lane has some of that aspect to it. And again, while those hands are out of there before the ball is let go, it's an unfair advantage. But he didn't try to go forward. One guy got behind him after that. I think it's the way they turned. And when he went up, the guy actually took a half step and was underneath him. So he gets the ball and comes down. And let's see, play that again. Let's take a look and see how when he goes up, the guy's behind him. When he comes down, let's see what causes the contact.
Okay, let's get it. Let's see it. Here we go.
In a comeback that will never be forgotten by Houston fans and Duke fans for the worse, Houston fans for the better, there's this one call that Duke fans will not be able to forget. And Cooper Flagg and John Shire.
Right there, look, he's got him around the waist, down the side of the leg. He's holding him. So he jumps up, and as soon as he backs up, this guy's still got a hold of him. He backs into him while he's in the air.
Yeah, he's actually displacing the player.
The rebounder.
Yes.
Oh, by certainly is.
Yeah.
And how that, and you can't go, I don't believe you can go to see if it was a bad call, not a foul. for out of bounds stuff, you can. But at that point, I think the only
I
thing they can
don't
look at
think.
is flagrant fouls. I
Yeah.
think that's what they can what they can relook at. But
Yeah,
let's look at it again and see. This kid goes up to make and you know, yeah, I know he's a play of the year and everything, and I've seen him play on T. I've watched the last month to see just how good he is. He's very good.
Okay, here we
And
go.
yeah, and these guys, you know, watch that, the kid from Houston there, and watch him just tangle him up. The one that's, as we're looking at the screens, to his left, and watch how he hangs with him when the ball starts to go off the rim in the direction of flag.
I mean, you can see it clearly there.
You bring that up again, Rick.
It's probably like in here.
Yeah, we're not seeing anything. We got a good look at it 2 or 3 times here, but I think that foul call was a real injustice to the Duke team. And
Yeah, I
how
agree.
that, you know, there was a lot of talk about how the game transpired after that, and had that call been made, and flag got, I think they were already into double bonus. Had flag got 2 free throws, you probably would have made them both. And
Yeah, I'm trying to find that position of
Fans better.
Where
There's
they
this one
actually
call that
started
Duke
here.
Fans will not be able to forget. And Cooper Flag
There we
and
go.
John
There, see?
Tyre, they won't be able
him
to
backing
forget
into him,
this either.
flagrantly
Just
backing
go to
into
the
him. I mean,
back.
that's
I mean,
that's
he's
not
not
boxing out. That's pushing him out. It's pushing a
Right.
guy 2 steps, 3 steps out of his position that he wanted to maintain while going after that rebound, and he
Now,
still
what
got it.
But what do you think about the center making a call when you're absolutely straight line? There's no way he saw that.
That's, well, you know, then you got 2 other guys that should come in and discuss it, and you know,
Absolutely.
there's those 2 other guys. Somebody should have had a really good look at that, because as I'm thinking how I saw that, actually the guy that comes in behind there, I think, was the guy that was back near the scorer's table, because we're looking at the team's benches there.
Right.
And
Right.
so there should have been a guy at the table there, a guy underneath on that side, and then another guy at the free throw line. And we always, you know, I always harped on officials, and these guys been working the tournaments, have been really good about this. So the basic thought is still there. Take a step towards the baseline when the ball leaves the shooter's hand, because too many guys are worried about getting to the other end of the floor,
Right.
and that's all they think about. As soon as the ball's out of the shooter's hand, they start to lean and start to go the other way. If you take the step towards the baseline, your momentum holds you, and you're there to make the call if there's a rebound on the shot.
Right.
And that guy, when he saw what happened, he came down deep to try and sell the call, and he sold a bad call there.
Yeah.
There's no doubt he sold a bad call. And you know, this is a crew saver situation.
I agree.
The guy that was on the side of the floor where the camera was would have had the same vision. The guy in the baseline may not have been much help, because he's one of them that those guys go wider for free throws now, and that he would have been straight lined on a lot of that, unless you
Right.
watch it from the beginning, and he's looking cross lane at the first 2 spots on the near side. People who don't know, most of what we look at is on the other side of the lane from where we're standing, because we have a much better look at it.
Mhm.
And that center official that should have been on the camera side, he takes a step down. He's the one that should have, you know, tried to stop it while the hands were there before the shot. And if he couldn't, then that's his major focus. You know, if the ball's going in, fine, but the ball doesn't, you got to know what's going on in that situation that shouldn't have developed in the first place, but did, timing wise. So that's
All right. Well, let's see what Jimmy thinks. What do you think, Jimmy?
Well, it's like you said, the official that was on the baseline and the official that was out towards mid-court should have been able to see those hands coming across. Now, once the shot went up and they went to rebound, from where the official was that ended up making the call, he saw him jump, and it looked to him as if he went over the guy's back, and there was a contact. But we see from the camera side that that's not what it was. You know, he took that step back, and it's like, again, you're talking about the hands in front of the guys. I mean, I'd like to go back and watch a couple other games and see if the guys in the lane did the same thing. But yeah, one call. People say that was the call that cost them the game. Well, how was it that you were ice cold the last minute and a half? Couldn't hit the broadside of the barn. That's the main thing. Everybody else see that one, that call cost us the game. What were you from the foul line? What were you from the field?
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, there's never one call that cost somebody a ball game. There's so many things. Some of the crazy shots they took. It was amazing me on some of these shots. They came down in the last 2-3 minutes, and both teams were missing the rim completely. It was, and I think one of the shots that Florida made from the bounced, it glanced off the board and went in. From the angle he shot it, I think it was a miss shot, a misaimed shot, but he had it at the right, what I want to say, trajectory,
right.
And using the glass. That the glass is very forgiving on a lot of shots from the side, and it used to be an art back in our day to be able to use that
Yes,
rectangle up there to guide your shots.
Yes,
Then get a rectangle, and I don't think they do anymore. They all want to swish a ball.
Or
They
dunk
don't
it.
want it off. To get a basket after the ball's on the glass, that's an embarrassment to a lot of kids.
Jim, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, it wasn't Florida. It was Houston.
Okay.
Duke and Houston.
Yeah. I mean,
You said Florida.
okay. That game. Well, I think last night one of the Florida kids put a shot up, glanced off and in.
Yeah.
So I mean, I thought the entire tournament. Last year we had a couple of Donnybrooks that we had to talk about, but I think overall it was very well officiated. And just for guys that I have seen officiate, each of those final four, each of those 3 games, there was one gentleman on each crew that I've seen at Clemson. And on a big game at Clemson, I've seen those 3 guys work together. And I was absolutely impressed with every one of them each time I've seen them. And I've got a story about one of them that if we have time at the end, I'll relate that. It's not so much about him, but it's about he and his wife. So I'll hold that off and see if we have time for it.
All right. Well, now the next video we're going to see, Don actually brought this one in. And just to prove we don't just pick on the guys, we do. This actually features a well-known college female coach. So here we go. Let me bring this on. And we'll go from there. All right, away we go here.
James won 12 in a row, longest active streak in the ACC. Reagan Beers back in the game here for Oklahoma with 3 fouls. Officials are going to huddle up.
This official we call J-Lo when we see her at Clemson. Looks like
by the
J-Lo's
way,
mom. Maybe J-Lo's mom, huh?
by the way, that definitely was a flop. There's no question about flop.
The motion that they made at the scorer's table was the faking being fouled motion.
Wow, that was nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's a beauty right there, isn't it?
That was nice.
No,
I don't know what she's complaining about. Let's get into it. I don't know what the hell she's complaining about, to be real honest with you. Now to lead it off, no question, the chick flopped. All right. I mean, if you're that size, no offense, if you're that size woman and you get knocked over by the air, obviously she flopped. And the official was signaling flop, flop, flop. It was obvious what happened there. I don't know what the hem-haw was all about. And for the coach to react like that to an assistant coach and not, what's that all about? Where the heck is your head? You know, what is that? Okay, I'm going to leave this. I'm going to send you a couple of signals. Okay, a couple of questions to you guys. Okay, one, what's that tell your team? What is that? What message is that giving to your team as you being the head coach? One. Two, who the heck's teaching you how to flop like that? We all learned how to flop. Look, when you take charges, we took charges in practice. How many you could hit? You'd fly back like you were, in a wind tunnel and slide on the floor. And the more you could slide, the better it sold, right? All right. So those are the two questions. Don, you're first. You're the rules guy. You tell me what the heck happened.
It's a flop. That's it. The thing that you guys didn't pick up is when she came down and forcibly knocked that clipboard out of her assistant's hand. Bam. That's no different than her taking a clipboard and slamming it in disgust of the call. And I don't know that was called or not, but it certainly was. And on a side note, remember last year when we had the brawl in the girls' game? That was her team. And she was, I think the team is basically sees that type of activity when the coach does it as okay. And that's maybe why they play on the edge. No, I didn't see them play much this year. I did see their game in the semifinals, I think it was. But the big thing there is, both you guys know, if we had a coach that would throw a clipboard, bam, no doubt about it. And in this case, it should have been the same because that act of defiance or disrespect for the outcome of that call that she didn't like needs to be handled.
Absolutely.
And if those two didn't, because she is who she is in the women's game, they better go in and get their spine repaired because it's close to being gone.
Well, you wonder why their team is the way they are. And as Gomer used to say, surprise, surprise, surprise. It's obvious what the hell's going on. So anyway, let's get Jimmy in here. Jimmy?
Hey, you're talking about the flop and when we officiated and a girl or a guy would, in my opinion, was a flop, and they get up and they question me. I says, if you're going to take the charge, I want to hear you singing like a soprano when you stand up. And to have a 22-point lead and still bitching about something like that is beyond me. And I like you said, I would have teed the coach when she went over and knocked the clipboard out of her assistant. There was no, not even. And hell, if I'd have been the assistant, I'd have picked it up, throw it up in the air, and walked back to the locker room, said, F it.
I'm done.
Yep.
I don't know if that did happen. What we saw, we saw the one woman walking away from the scores table, and it's kind of hard to tell if that was spliced together to put on the internet or not, but maybe they did tee her up for that. But if they didn't, that might tell why we didn't see either of those, why we may not have seen one of those three in the finals, because that's how they pick them. They get graded each game they work to see if they go to the next level.
Well, I will tell you, even in our book, I mean, there's several stories where coaches just, they're not being a role model, let's say, the proper role model.
Yeah,
for their students, and that feeds everything, guys. We know it. We've had games. Coaches incite the fans, and then when the fans get going, that's when all the shit hits the fan. And then you've got all kinds of problems. So that if we can't, that's part of us being game managers. And that's the thing I'd like to say to young officials is, one of the things you have to learn, you have to learn how to talk to coaches, absolutely, and to players. But you have to learn how to game manage, because if you don't, I mean, it never gets better, boys. It escalates. It always does. Always, always, always. And if you let it go, you're lighting a fuse to a stick of dynamite. So, all right, we got one last video tonight. And it's the championship game from last night. This could be very interesting for all of us to comment on. So let's take a peek at this guy. All right, here we go. This is just the final 16 seconds. 65-63, Houston with the ball. 16.2 on the clock. And away we go.
National championship is in the balance. 13 seconds left. Florida leads it by 2. Uzan gonna go. Uzan, give it up. Cryer, 6 seconds, 5 seconds, sharp. He won't. He can't touch it. He can't. 1 second. And it's over.
Oh boy. All right.
What did our friendly announcer say when that happened?
Well, let's don't guess. Let's go back. Let's find out what he said.
Yeah, just bring it back a hair.
He won't. He can't touch it.
There it is.
Give it up. Cryer.
Right or wrong?
It's 5 seconds. Sharp. He won't. He can't touch it. He can't. 1 second. And it's over.
All right. So, all right, guys. Now, we've seen this before. Now, Don and I in pre-show did talk about this just a little bit. Now, giving the curve that the game, the rules might be slightly different at the college level as it is to the high school level. As it appeared, now you notice the refs didn't do anything. They just said, let it roll. I think they were waiting to see what this kid would do. The kid goes up. Okay. He comes back down, but he drops the ball in a downward motion. He doesn't let go of it. He puts it down. Okay. Now, we've seen, I saw a couple weeks ago about the, what do they call that? Gather dribble. I'm sure you guys have seen that with the game. The guy looked like he took 3-4 steps and they called it a gather dribble. Okay. Now, all that being said, I'll tell you what a coach of mine always told me. Play inside your skill set. All right. I think 2 things should have happened there. Now, I'm sure a lot of things happened before that, bad shots and so forth and so on. And Don's going to get into that. But play inside your skill set. If you don't think you can take that shot, don't go get it. Pump fake. Do something. Try to get a foul. In my mind, do I think he took a shot? No. I think he went up. I don't think he did anything. Now, he didn't come down with the ball. He put the ball down. So now we're going to begin the speculation. All right, Don, Mr. Rules Interpreter, take it.
Okay, so how did he travel? How did he travel if he never touched the ball after he stopped? He started to come up for a shot. I mean, he didn't get it up here. He was way down here. And here's the thing. The kid
Cheslow.
that passed in front of him had already blocked 2 of his shots.
Ah,
So when he saw him, he dropped the ball. Okay. He put the ball to the floor. Now, what's he done wrong so far? Nothing according to rules.
Not yet.
So he put the ball down to the floor once. When it comes up a second or third time, could he have continued his dribble? Because
Well-
the act of a dribble, the ball is a dribble begins with a downward force exerted by the player.
Correct.
Okay. Now that doesn't mean he has to push it down every time it comes up. Okay. And that doesn't mean he can't take. I mean, this kid was standing anyway. There's no limit to the amount of steps he can take between times the ball hits the floor. How many times you see a guy dribbling and he goes up the floor, and he keeps it dribbling and he walks 3-4 steps, then he continues his dribble. See in a pro game, maybe in the backcourt sometimes. You don't
see it
see
a
it very
lot.
often. But
Yeah.
there's no limit to the amount of steps you can take
Mhm.
between dribble or while you are dribbling. And it's a continued dribble, even if you're not touching it for 2 or 3 bounces. So he started to dribble and it continued, and everybody looked at it. And finally, a couple of guys went diving for it, and then it's play on. There's nothing there. If he would have dribbled, it would have looked bad. And it's one of those things I've talked about a lot. Just because it looks bad doesn't mean it's a foul or a violation.
Correct.
But if he would have gone up here with it, he would have had his hand under it, and then the force would not be towards the floor. But
Correct.
because he was not, he was in the pre-shot motion, which if he'd got fouled, they could have called it a shot, because it's the shot and the motion just before the shot all goes into effect there.
Sure.
But in this case, he left the floor, but he never had the ball in a good shooting position and realized he didn't want to shoot it. So he just,
Correct.
he had it in his hands, it went down, and now he's taken himself out of the play because they probably never had to. If that happened in practice, they probably laughed about it or something, but they never took the time to explain what goes on. So that's my take on it. That and one other thing about it, when Houston took the ball over to the right elbow, they had 2 guys close together and 3 defensive guys. It was a mumbo jumbo over there, and I think the flow of the play kind of broke down a little bit. And when that guy got the pass, I think he grossly misjudged how much time was left. I'm sure he was watching over there, and when he got the ball, he just felt, I'm wide open, I got to get it up there. And he had plenty of time to make a fake, but in all that going on and seeing how long it took the ball once it got in that elbow area and then back out and around to him, he just misjudged the time. And how can you keep track of the time when you see your 2 teammates have trouble over there before the ball came back to you? So, I mean, you can't really blame the kid. I would have said, go up with a good head and shoulder fake on the shot, and then that guy flying by him is gone, and then he should have had a good shot. But again, it's the way the game played out. The guy that flashed on him, the guy he saw coming, knew he'd already blocked 2 of his shots. So what are you going to do? Get one block to end the game, or you're going to try to keep the ball in play, which is what he tried to do, is keep the ball in play where hopefully somebody else could grab it, even though they didn't need it. Somebody else didn't have to do it. That's
All right, Jim. You're up, buddy.
Well, it's just like when I saw it this morning. I think the guy thought he faked the kid up, but he had left the floor. So in his mind, if he comes down with the ball, he's going to get called for traveling, or as some people call ups and downs, which we don't call that, but it would have been traveling. You
Back
know?
in junior high,
So-
we used to call it, up and down.
Yeah, yeah. But I think that's what he thought in his mind, because right away when he did it, he turned to block the guy that was going to try to block his shot, to block him out of getting the ball so one of his teammates could get it. And it didn't happen that way. And there you go. As some Duke fans would probably say, that's what happened because you called a foul on flag, you know?
Well,
That's,
you know how
that's
that
how
is.
things equal out.
You know, I just want to
But-
talk a little bit, just a second, about up and downs. There's a new game out the kids play called Keepy Uppy. Are you guys familiar with that?
No, that's a new
Okay,
one.
you're not watching enough Bluey cartoons. You know who Bluey is? See it with the grandkids? Yeah. There's a game where they take a balloon and they keep it up in the air like that. So that's one thing. My granddaughter comes with a balloon and starts playing around with it. I said, let's play Keepy Uppy. And so
Keepy Uppy.
Keepy Uppy. Everybody plays Keepy Uppy. See how long we keep it up.
That's something new.
Yep.
So
I never heard of it.
you never
That's
heard
that
of it?
thing down south.
Well, you're going there pretty
No,
soon.
it's
ain't you?
not. It's from Bluey. If you haven't watched the Bluey cartoons,
No.
the grandkids love them, but yet they're popular with like the parents and the grandparents because there's a little bit of nostalgia towards stuff in our era that comes up, and it's a really well done, made in Australia cartoon.
Oh yeah,
And
Bluey. Yeah,
there's
absolutely.
There's kids. Yeah, Bluey's a blue tick healer in
Oh, yeah.
comic form, and
Absolutely.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. When they want to watch Bluey, I'm happy to watch them.
Well, you do whatever the grandkids want you to do. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's heck. We all do that. I mean, I took. By the way, it's a really cool little place. I took them to Adventure Play, the youngest ones, and it's this giant indoor bounce house.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's all it is, you know. And I mean, well, how did Sherry put it? It smells like a junior high locker room in here. I think that was it. But it was very cool. But yeah, I do that all the time. I show the kids the Three Stooges and, you know, all this nostalgic shit, you know. Heck, I call the three boys the Three Stooges, Larry, Curly, and Moe, you know. So, but yeah, hey guys, as we're ramping this up, I want to talk about the book. We do have the Official Tales book. It is available on Amazon in color. Color is the hardback. It's in paperback and in ebook. And if you don't want to go to Amazon and you got something against them or whatever, you can always go to the Common Good and pick them up. They do have a few of ours, and we will be running a Father's Day special coming up shortly. We are going to have some special guests on here eventually. Steve Gray and a few other folks. Those will probably be live events, which we will let everybody know. Also, you can reach out to us on our Facebook pages or on YouTube. Yeah, I know we're all over the place.
Up, down, right, left.
Well, there we go, up, downs. And you can always reach out to us, talk to us. I did create a link on my Facebook page. Those guys shared it on theirs, directly to our YouTube page where all of our library is there, including our last very funny show where we read a couple stories. And if I remember right, we're over combined 500 views on that.
The last show?
Yeah, on the last show. Well over. We might be closer to 6 by now.
Mm-hmm.
So we're closer to 6. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to be doing another one of those coming up and having a little fun with each other as well. Well, mostly Jimmy, because, you know. Jimmy.
Yeah, it takes two to figure out how they can pull one on me.
You know how it goes.
You know, I'm just saying.
But I do want to tell everybody, especially the young guys coming up and all the guys that are still officiating, all around. We're very proud of you, and we're thankful that you guys watch our shows, because it's amazing how many guys talk to us about watching our shows. And if you can pick up a couple of bad habits, from us, or some little nuggets of how to pick on your partner and do stuff that people
Yeah,
like
before the game and after the game, bad habits.
that guy over there, nothing.
Oh, that way.
But and I also want to say it's been a real blessing to be able to write this book and do this show with you guys, and to have people follow us. And I thank God every day for our kids and everybody in our families that helped us along the way. All of our partners too, that wasn't us three. We've had a lot of partners out there, and some are still with us, some are not. And we're very blessed and very thankful for being able to do this. And we thank you guys for continuing to watch us and tell us our funny stories back to us. It's actually pretty good. So, Don, you got anything?
Yeah, I do. I think I mentioned this last show, but Friday I'm headed up to Norwalk. Should be in town by about noon. And the reason I'm coming home is the Bay Area Officials Association having their annual banquet, which means another induction into the Hall of Fame. And one of the guys was very influential in getting me started and keeping me supplied with games for a number of years. Charlie Floor. He, along with Rick Jeffrey, taught the football officiating class that I attended. And Charlie, very deserving. He was a two-sport official. Spent a lot of time. You remember Mark Fogg, when we had him on, he mentioned that Rick and Charlie were the guys that kind of put their necks on the chopping block as they would have an Ask the Referee session on Thursday nights on WLAC back probably 35, 40 years ago. And so Charlie's going in, hasn't been the greatest of health, but when I talked to Rick Jeffrey, who's going to induct both him and Bill Monahan, I asked him how Charlie was doing, if he'll be able to appear and accept that. And he goes, "Oh yeah, he'll be there. I'm inducting him." So I said, then I'm getting my tickets. I'll be up there for it. Bill Monahan was the secretary of our association, and kind of took me aside before he left and said, "Hey, Keith is going to be our new treasurer, but we need a vice president, which becomes president the second year, past president the third year." He said, you've got quite a future in front of you, I think, and this should be a good spot for you, a good time for you to step into those positions. So he kind of gave me that nudge that I did it. And a third guy we've had on the show is Greg Bartemus, and he was also an association secretary who does about everything from Bill's day, and then Keith Newton, who went in the hall with me and Greg. I mean, that covers 50 years of the Bay Area there, as far as the three guys that were the secretary. So congratulations to Charlie, Bill, and Greg. Looking forward to seeing those guys and some other old timers and good friends that are going to be there. And who knows who I might run into around the town, especially at the Buckeye Pub.
You got that right.
You haven't decided if it's going to be for breakfast or for perch.
All right, Jim, you're up.
Hey, I want to, say congratulations to those three guys and stuff. And Bill was forever there, as was Keith. And was last year or the first year when he got nominated in with Don. Those guys were mainstays. I mean, forever. It's like, okay, we're gonna vote for the next treasurer. Well, we already knew who it was going to be. Same thing with Bill's position. It was just a matter of why vote. We know we want these guys to continue doing their job because they did it good, and that's it. Keeping things together. So the younger guys, when they got there, they knew how to go about their business and stuff. And you know, when some of these guys, like we've had Al Snellinger on, I wish we would have been able to get Chris Harkness on that night too. But I talked to a couple of guys. I saw a guy down at the rec center, and he said, "Yeah," he said, "I thought I recognized you from the book." Then he mentioned the Rick. I go, "Well, don't believe anything he says." I mean, gosh. But yeah, everything, you know. I told him how to get to the YouTube. I said, type in Officials Tales. I said, this last video that we did or podcast we did, I think can have you rolling in the street. And as far as Don and Rick saying, I only had two. Well, these damn things are like, you know, this big and this big around, at least a 32 ouncer.
Oh, no.
Not, oh, hell no.
Yeah, on the way
hell
home.
no.
So we had a gallon of beer down.
Well, that's why. No, that's a half a gallon.
Well, I will tell you this. You wonder when we're talking about nostalgia. I did find one last video I wanted to show. This is exactly how we feel when we're dealing with Jimmy. Just hang on one second. And,
you did this behind my back.
Oh, this one's great, Jimmy. It
You
really
and
is.
you and Don knew this. You ain't seen it?
I'm waiting.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. I gotta find it.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay.
Let me go back. Sorry about that. Now let me stop. I gotta find it real quick. I do have it.
Yeah.
I had it queued up, but it's so short that it keeps popping on me. Just hang on one tick. Bear with me, folks. It'll be worth it.
We're getting so many clips and stuff. We're going to have to get somebody to
Hewitt?
run the dials here to get this.
I know. Hang on one second. Here we go. Now we're going to come back to it. It's so short.
I'm sure it'll be worth it.
Oh, it'll be worth it. Hang on. This is exactly how we feel when we're dealing with Jimmy. Just bear with me. Here we go.
Remarkable. It's too shiny thing, but remarkable. Yeah. I love a Pete say it.
Pete, say it.
Remarkable.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's us right there.
The
Baby.
little rascals. The rascals. The stymie.
That's
It
what
might
we
have choked
say.
Daddy, but it ain't gonna choke me.
I told you it'd be worth it.
Yeah.
Remarkable.
Remarkable.
Can't you say anything but remarkable?
Yes. Remarkable.
So again, thanks everybody for putting up with us, us amateurs, and screwing around with the videos and laughing with us. And we do appreciate you and look forward to seeing you again next week.
Hey, if anybody would like to drop us a line, if you have an idea for somebody maybe out of the past, doesn't have to be way back in our days. It could be since that, but would like to hear, like for us to get them on and see what they've been doing lately, see where they live, what they've been doing. Let us know. We'll see if we can run them down and have some fun with them for a little bit and jog all our memories to the good.
And thanks again for watching us, folks. God bless and have a great week.
See you later.
Go.